Warning, the following episode of Boots on the Ground contains mature language. View at your own discretion. I've hit record. We're gonna go with the PC section. We're down to 3 people, despite 8 people saying they would show up. One guy's gone to bed, the other guy went to get food. So thank you, Iden and Leoso for coming on. But now we're moving on to PC, and it's just us 3 Eon members here to talk about it. Tried getting some FEC people on. No luck in the end. But oh well. So who wants to recap the war that nobody has talked about?
Really isn't a whole lot to recap. Got a whole group of people. Pretty much, you got Eon, the same people that have been Eon since the start, and pretty much everyone else. And they decided to all attack us. So it's, on paper, great idea. It's a great way to, basically Eon's pretty much had their way with Molden Heath for almost 2 months now. You're going to have an uprising. Eventually people are going to stand up for it. They're not going to take it laying down, and that's what this war did. Certain people, like I said, I have no inside info or anything on the whole FEC, that coalition that they did. All I see is what I saw in my cord battle finder, which was an insane amount of activity. At the beginning of the war, Eon, was at 100 plus matches. Pretty much 89, I'd say probably about 95% of our districts were under attack all at the same time.
Yeah.
To most people, that's a logistical nightmare. It was a great idea for them. Look, there's no possible way that Eon can possibly. They're going to lose land just because they don't have the personnel to field these matches. We proved them wrong. Plain and simple. I know team players alone, we were at 75 districts at the beginning of the war, and all 75 of them were under attack within a 2-day stretch. And we had, I recall, one timer. We had one single-hour timer. I had 15 districts on the same timer. Within a 40-minute stretch, we had 13 matches. Okay, I have a corporation of 35 people. Plain and simple. So we went into a match, literally, full 16 into one match. All of a sudden, we'd hurry up, red line them, we'd duck half of them out, go into another one. STB took some matches for us. We had several guys. We tried not to use Eon too much because everyone had their own matches to take care of. The less that we had to ask for help, the better for everybody, because everyone was in the same boat we were. We were just our boat was a lot bigger to start with. It is what it is. But we lost. Team players lost one district out of everything. We have lost one district, and that was the same thing. We just didn't have personnel. We chose to let one go, and turns out, it ended up being a cargo hub when we thought it was only a 300 clone district. We thought we'd already lost it. We finished up and pushed into the timer that we were free, because for the tournament we moved all of our districts' timers off of the 01 and 0200 timer because of the tournament. We didn't want PC to affect us doing or not doing the tournament. So that's what caused a major issue for that. But at the same time, this one match actually rolled over into when we were free. So we had just finished up. We just finished playing 13 matches within 45 minutes. All of a sudden we look into the battle finder. Oh wow, this is still up. So we go in there. We still got 150 clones left. It's against Ancient Exiles. I'm not going to make excuses or beat around it. They beat us, and they took that district. So overall, very good. You can't expect holding 75 districts, all of which are under attack, in literally a 4-hour stretch, and we held on to all of them. And I know Eon had great success. Yeah, we lost a few here and there. It's going to happen, but everyone had a blast. But at the same time, you're looking, okay, well, you're going to instantly get burnout real quick, which is, I know, one of the underlying things that they were planning on doing was to just get us to burn out, get people to quit. Same thing that happened to Seraphim. Like I said, previously I was on good speaking terms with Shah, and it was the same thing that Kronos had gone through way back then. Is when Nakia was at the reins of Ill Omens in Eon, and being on the front lines, constantly attacking them, utilizing Eon to fill these matches. But it was the same thing. That was against Kronos, which was 90% Seraphim at the time. They got burned out. Eventually, they bailed out. They thought that same thing would happen to Eon. Mission failed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I'm just stating facts. I'm trying not to show one side or the other. I'm just this is what happened. And then literally within a few days, everything just died down. We were still getting some attacks. Phoenix Federation stayed on it quite a bit. What the French kept attacking us quite a bit, but after those first few days, I mean, it's just like that whole coalition, this whole big, cooperative that they were running, just instantly seemed to fizzle. And I don't know why or what, and if it was a funding thing, could very well be. My understanding was, there was a couple people with the pile of this that were largely funding this. I found out later from, this guy, that guy, otherwise that wasn't necessarily the case. I don't know, and I'm not going to speculate. So, but now we're here.
People underestimate the way we operate under war times. We have back-end logistics set up so that we know where the overlaps are. We already know where we're going to encounter problems with filling matches, and if we need to, the way we fill matches in a time of full out-and-out war. We don't have A team here, A team there. Can't get enough A teamers in. We have a lot of guys that go in for Eon, a lot of guys, so that if you're short, you got overlaps, whatever it is. And and I mean, like what Cub said with how much you guys were able to fill on your own, took the pressure off of the rest of Eon for filling all their other matches, and the support that, like you had said. But it just it was what I said when we were off camera. It was one of the best things to happen to Dust in quite a while. You got a lot of people to engage in PC that hadn't been in PC before. That fact showed in those first 1-2 day results, to be honest. But it got their feet wet, and it gave them a taste, and some of them stuck it out a little longer than others, and really kind of got the bug and want to keep going at it. It was good for Dust.
Yeah, I mean,
it was something that we've been calling for ourselves for how long,
Yeah.
and we were telling them how to do it. The thing that contributed to us is we already kind of knew how they would go about doing it. We were prepared for not picking on anybody, just using an example because we already mentioned them, and they fought a lot, so I'll use them as the example. But matches being launched by Phoenix Federation, and some matches they filled on their own. I'm not saying that they didn't, but we had said ahead of time is be prepared for swaps, and I know Cubs was ready. Cubs did a lot of them where it would be a Phoenix Fed show up, and all the AE ringers went in that one. An AE attack, and you had off guys in that. I would have carried that a little farther myself if I was on the other end, but we were prepared for that ahead of time. We talked about the options of them coming at us when they did before it even started.
Yeah, we were definitely prepared long before attacks were launched. And what I noticed is kind of like over the duration of the war, and like I said, you talk to some people, the war's not even over. So, it is what it is. But, at first they tried the Zerg method. We're just going to attack everything, and, we're going to get some stuff just because they can't feel it. Okay? Plan A backfired on. Plan B, now we're going to tie up team players and keep them busy all the time, and then basically overlap timers with Giant and Synergy, and then we're going to send our best into the other ones, keep team players occupied. Well, we countered that instantly as well. And other cores in Eon definitely stepped up to the challenge. And end of story. I mean, there wasn't a lot of team players. Giant. Oh, we got AE in here. You guys took care of it. We were always willing to do that, but it wasn't necessary. And we stayed organized. It was just great across the board. It was a lot of fun. They also picked a time. They should have waited another week, honestly, because with the new games coming out. I mean, Final Fantasy has taken Dust down 2 notches, just from player activity. And that's not just us, that's everybody. You know, you got Grand Theft Auto, you know, next week. We'll see what the landscape looks like. So, you know,
I mean, hell, they messed up on day one. They should have waited one day. You know, they launched all those day one 100 attacks with
You want
100
to know a
clones
funny
instead of
story
waiting
about that?
one day and going 120.
You want to know why it started then rather than a day later?
I know. We want to talk about it?
Go
Do
ahead.
it. Go.
Yeah,
Go.
so it's kind of funny, and I didn't even know about this. I mean, and we bitched the guy out afterwards, and then, well, at first we bitched the guy out, and then we're like, okay, actually, we got to thank you. I got a kid in my corps, who one of my other players retired, gave him all access to his account. He goes onto his account and takes all the money, and gets on the forum and says, I'm attacking Eon, blah blah. What's he do? He launches 15 attacks against team players. This guy is in my corps. And basically started the war, and that caused Zombie from Subreddit, who's heading up the FEC. That's when they basically had to jump the gun on it.
It's go time.
At first, we were so upset, and then he trolled our entire corporation, which was, in hindsight, hats off to him because he did. But like us, what's it like to spark an entire war against a whole alliance? He's like, oh, it feels so bad. I'm like, no, actually, look, it just cost them an extra $1 billion. In those day one attacks, because the next day was when they changed the clone pack price and stuff. So it was pretty funny.
So for those out of the know, they decided that 100 clones wasn't enough because it wasn't. There's not really that much you can do with a 100-person clone pack.
No.
They changed them to 100.
You can, but it's not easy. We've done it. Lots of guys have done
those
it, but
20
it's
extra
not
clones
common.
really helped.
Yeah.
Even 120 is not enough, but it's a step in the right direction. They said that they backed it with data and everything, and the average clone loss in a match was 80, so 100 clones would work. Yeah, but it was a skewed statistic because, average clone loss maybe was 80, but most of those matches are red line affairs, and I don't know where they came up with their statistics, and luckily they changed it. Of course, they won't.
I'm wondering if Slosh Ops skewed those as well, actually.
They would, yeah.
But they decided that they were going to change it to 120, and everybody attacked when they were still the 100 clone packs.
24 hours before.
Yep. And I'm wondering if people thought, oh, we'll still get 120 clones, and we'll be clever, and we won't have to pay as much ISK. But
yeah, cheap bastards screwed themselves. I mean, I didn't think they'd get the 120, but
the entire community got trolled by one guy. Is what happened. It's just at this point, it's completely laughable. It was a little different outlook at the time, but
Eon's pretty good at trolling itself.
you're not lying there.
Want to go back and talk about tournament?
I have to say, the funny thing is, you're right. Like, inactivity is what would probably have killed Eon by now, I guess. Like, a lot of people probably wouldn't even be playing if we hadn't had this big war. Activity in Giant, like, we had 16 people on for the first time in I can't even remember.
Yeah, it was this war because we had a bunch of jumpers on the eve of PC, and it wasn't until the first night of this war that we were able to fill 100% Giant for the first time. So I mean, it was good for us. It was good for Eon because we wanted fights. We were calling for somebody to step up and do something for a long time. You had our guys on the forum even telling them how to do it. And it was good for the community. Got activity up. I mean, Cubs and I were chatting just the other day, and I mean, I knew this, but he was going over again, and I mean, basically, you ended up with that many districts, Cubs, just keep your activity up, right? Guys want fights.
I mean, literally, our initial plan was literally 2 players wants 5 districts. Well, we got our 5 districts, and then we just wanted to play. Literally, just wanted to play. We've said it on the forum a million times. People just don't really get it. So we attack again. Well, then we take another district. Okay, we attack again. Keep another district. I mean, that's how my guys stayed active the whole time. Because if I wasn't getting wars, then I'd be dealing with what I'm dealing with now as people playing other games. And because that is the reason that my guys continue to play does is PC. PC, without PC, I probably wouldn't even be on this game anymore. You know,
People forget how many districts Eon started out with on day one on land rush day. I mean, I don't even know if we had 30 across Alliance, to be
I don't
honest.
know.
It was
We got
like
two.
16, 17.
16, 17?
Yeah, we had 2. I know that. And I don't think anybody had more than maybe 3 in any individual court on day one. You know, we go from 2, and then over the course of 45 days, we got 75. The new mechanic, I love it. You know, when you can take a district all in one sitting.
That was a big change in the right direction.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big part of the not to go backwards, but that was a big part of the League of Infamy thing too. We had that change in place.
Yep.
Send a whole district, drop clones back on, full up, flip, move on to the next one.
And the fact that if you defend successfully, you don't have to fight again the next day.
Yeah.
Like
Which
one of my favorite
just
things.
feels right, yeah.
Because you're getting rewarded for defending.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the other big one was flipping a district and being able to change your timer. I mean, that was a major headache for us back in the specifically Chronos days.
Orion, I think, was the big one for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those days. But yeah, I mean, what's happened to the FEC? Do they even exist anymore? Because
I honestly don't think they're there and doing anything, and I don't think they have for a good while. There's still been some attacks coming. You know, we've been active. We've had a couple nights off since this started. Not counting 2 nights where we did self-attack to do some stuff on our districts. But I think we've only had a couple nights off since the thing. So there's still some guys shooting attacks because I think the war gave them a taste for it, and they realized how much fun PC is. But I don't really think there's any FEC behind the scenes trying to do anything. I don't think there has been for a while, to be honest.
yeah. Although it was
The
annoying.
guys just aren't keeping up.
I was trying to grab people as ringers because we were down 1, and I was like, "Oh, you should come play." And it's like, "No, I'm FEC." And I'm like, "Really?
Does that matter anymore?
Yeah. Like, just come have fun with this. Like, screw the politics.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we've had that several times. I mean, I have no idea if they're still together, still not going, whatever. I mean, all I know is, I'm not getting attacked. Of course, a lot of people, are going to point to, oh, well, you locked your districts down. Here's a nice little tidbit. We did lock our districts down. Not going to deny that. It's pretty obvious. At the same time, we locked our districts down for roughly 3 days.
Yeah.
We had 3 days where everything was locked down, and then stuff. We'd be doing that. Experiment with different things, but there was always stuff to be attacked, and they just stopped. So the only people that attack us now, I mean, Ancient Exiles, they get a district, they get rid of a district, they move their clones, they attack us most of the time. So, which is fine. I mean, that's the competition. That's the top competition in the game. That's what we prefer to do, is to play them.
But yeah, you've been losing districts though, in the sense that you've been selling them.
Yeah. Like I said, so peace negotiations, or whatever you want to say, they were trying to negotiate with us, and I get in this chat one day, and I agreed with them. Okay, just like since day one, we had said, yeah, we've got way more land than we should ever realistically have, because nobody stopped us. Well, now people want to get on this. Awesome, sweet. I'm all for restoring some balance into Molden Heath. I mean, there's no way that you could possibly ever expect us to hold, to successfully hold down 75 districts if people are, trying to come at us. And they finally did. So, I mean, it was successful in that event. And, so I started selling districts again, which I was doing before. We'd be on the war path, and then people want districts. I'd sell them. We get more, sell them. I mean, it's just a cycle that produces money. But I get into this meeting, and they're like, yeah, well, we want you to give us your land. Literally just hand over half your holdings, just abandon it, we'll take care of it, and the war will be over. And I basically told them that, I basically said, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I said, I'm not giving away anything. I'll gladly get rid of stuff. I'm going to sell stuff. But I'm not giving away. I mean, my guys were dedicated. We stayed up till 3 in the morning. The guys hid behind timers. The Euros that say, oh, we're not hiding behind timers, even though at 12 in the afternoon was their prime time. Okay, fine. That's fine. For us, that's 8 in the morning. We would get up on weekends and we would be attacking the stuff that are the off prime timers, things like that. My guys dedicated a lot of their manpower, a lot of their personal time to take care of this. Okay, do you expect me just to hand it back over? No. I mean, I don't understand their logic. I said, look, I'll gladly hook you guys up. I'll even sell it right to the guys who are attacking us. That's fine. But I'm not going to give it to you. It's that simple. So that fizzled out. And like I said, I've been pretty successful at selling districts. They're like, oh, well, what they'd originally said was, okay, well, we'll give you 2 days. 2 days to farm your lands unattacked. Okay, 2 days. And then we'd abandon it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. My mentality is, look, okay, I've got this land. Why don't I make the money rather than you? Okay, people want to say we're greedy. Well, in a regard, it is. But the thing is, okay, this game is there's 2 things in this game. You've got in-game, okay, you've got the matches and the good fights, and then you've got money. The game's around money. That's just how it is. So, that's what we do, and that's what we continue to do. We were at 75. I think I'm down to 37 now. Over the course of the war, we actually went up another, I think, 6 districts just from us attacking stuff. And at the same time, I'm selling stuff. I don't attack, contrary to what, if you read the forums and stuff, I've never attacked a district I've sold. If I sell it to Corporation X on District Y, District Y does not get attacked as long as Corporation X, possesses it. And at the same time, I don't make that guarantee for all of Eon, but I also tell them, I tell people, look, I just sold it. Most people in Eon usually approach me regarding who they can and can't attack regarding it, which is definitely appreciated. But they know before they ever hand me the money that is not a guarantee. So, but yeah, things are going well. And like I said, I still got districts for sale. So I'm all about. I mean, literally, we're all for just going down to like 5 districts. I mean, I would much rather be a mercenary corporation like we've always wanted to be, a true mercenary corp.
I think a lot of Eon are like that.
Yeah.
I know Nums is Bravado. He doesn't want to be a farmer, he doesn't want to hold land, he wants to take land for other people.
Yeah, take it and just give it right back. We actually talked about that. We'll take a district and then just abandon it right after. They got to spend the money. But at the same time, why not hang on to it? Make more money hanging on to it. So people call us farmers. The thing is, over the course of when we gained all this stuff, yeah, we're farming districts because you're not attacking them. And we're attacking more. We're taking more. Okay? The whole time, we were extremely active. Just constantly taking more. I mean, when you take more, you make more. I just don't understand the logic that they say sometimes. It just doesn't compute. So.
It's bad meta.
Like I said, even at the same time now, Eon cores get low on. We've always helped each other. I remember a while back, Pure Innocence wanted to attack, a certain core. Well, they didn't have a district close to there. I hooked them up with a district close so they can use clones. We settle it. It's not a big deal. Everything's how it's always been. We have other cores. They might lose a district. They got active players. They want to stay in PC. I hook you up with more districts. I mean, that's what it's for. Now, of course, the coalition probably didn't like that because it doesn't decrease the number of Eon districts, but at the same time, it gets more out of my hands, and people get to have fun. I mean, that's what the game is all about. I'm sorry.
Okay. I mean, the only one last thing I want to go into, how have you noticed performance on servers and that kind of thing holding up? They're better than they were,
Uh,
but they were really bad before.
yeah. Um, I mean, we've seen the Euro and Asian corps load into a match, individual to grab the server, and it can be just some brutal lag. Um, One of the things I don't understand, I was talking about this the other day, and I don't know if it's that there's more in-game assets. I don't know if it's the 6v6. I don't know if it's the atmospherics, whatever it is. But back when Corp v Corp first started, when we had 8v8s, Southern Legion, Australian Corp, for anybody that doesn't know, though they have North American guys too, but especially back then, they were pretty much just Australian. We scrim with those guys 2 nights, 2 times Friday, 2 nights Saturday for months, and the lag was next to never an issue. So I don't know what the big difference between those days and these days are, but it doesn't even compare. Even when we get good connections now, it's still probably more noticeable lag than back in those 8v8 days. The loading for the server though is definitely an issue. People are trying to play, set their server preference, load in as individuals, and try and get the server advantage. Um, I hope there's something that they can do about that. I mean, lag is one thing, but unbalanced lag is another. If both teams are lagging, both teams are dealing with it. If it falls pretty much on one side, it's kind of crappy because it's out of your hands.
Yeah, I would say, since the beginning of PC, there have been considerable improvements into server stability. Is it even acceptable yet? No, not even close.
No.
I mean, the majority of our stuff is North America versus North America. We still experience really bad, it's hit or miss, but there are times when frame rate just drops to a ridiculous level. We've played a fair amount of North American versus EU. Originally, whoever got server won the match. It took skill, teamwork, tactics, everything out of it because one team was pretty much unplayable. The other team experienced no lag at all. It's better now. A lot of the cores that we have played now that European, they'll say, look, lag was bad, lag was bad. We don't experience discernible lag, but at the same time, I know it's not perfect flow. So that's for sure. Now, these last few days, we've gotten to play some Nyansan. And, I played Southern Legion a few times in recent memory, too. If you're on an Asian server, being in North America at the least, it's not. It's ridiculous. It's just, it's like the beginning of PC when, you're playing North America versus EU. I mean, one side is literally unplayable. So, work still needs to be done. That's for sure.
And we've always had the city thing too, where so many guys lag so hard in the city, and it makes me wonder if it's down to more assets that are in your surroundings. When you're outside and you're more in the open, guys can be fun.
I mean, it could just be.
That's where we see North America versus North America.
Hmm.
In the city, always lags more, and there are times where it's just unplayable for both sides.
And some guys, depending on their connection, they get used to the fact and they say, I'll run home point, whatever it is. I just can't go into the city because if I go into the city, I'm lagged out and I can't even play.
Do you think that's an issue with when there's just too many people in a small area that it becomes a real problem?
I'd say I don't think it has to do with the amount of people in the city, because guys can just simply go into the city and start lagging. I don't think you have to have the majority of both sides in there for the guys to experience that do have that problem.
Yeah, I agree. And I've heard things, over time, like there's certain maps that they've actually pulled out of the game because they lag so bad. I mean, that's kind of what I feel at times with certain matches. Certain maps, it's always in the city, and the more CQC areas is where you experience more lag, regardless of who you're playing. And then when you factor in different people from different servers, it just multiplies it just compounds it so badly. it's to the point where it's frustrated some of my guys that they don't play anymore. They're like, yeah, it's not even worth it. This game's just not worth it. Now there's some of us who still enjoy the game and do our best to get them on to play the matches, and they usually do still. But that's also because there really aren't any other games yet that appeal to them. So.
Okay, well that's just at half an hour, and that's overall like over 2 hours for everything. So we've been going a while.
Weekly. It'll be very short when you do it weekly.
Yeah, it will be. Even if most of the stuff we've been talking about tonight, the long stuff, has actually been stuff that's happened over the last week, but still, weekly. I'm looking forward to weekly again, which is going to be a thing, because we're going to move on to shoutouts and stuff. I don't care if there's more things to talk about. The show will now be weekly, starting not this weekend, but next weekend. Every week. Because I'll have moved house, and all of this shit that I've been dealing with for the past 2 months will be over. And it'll be great. And we'll be back to a weekly thing. I've got another show coming up, Dust related, that I'm going to be doing. So there's that to look forward to as well. The idea of that is it's going to be like an open, not open mic, but like people can, it's going to be live. I'm going to have at least 2, or at least 1 CPM member on, probably 2, every week. Maybe get some Dust developers on if I can. And it will just be, we'll just be answering questions that people post. So there'll be more details about that soon. People really liked when the CPM did that Ask Me Anything. That was like a month ago or over a month ago.
Yeah, somewhere there.
But people seem to like that, so probably do an hour a week of that. More details coming soon. But first, moving boots on the ground back to a weekly schedule. So yeah. Thanks everybody for watching. I know people have been asking for me to keep doing more boots on the ground, and I've just been really busy. And like the schedule's just been a nightmare. So I'm looking forward to actually being able to do this again. But yeah. Thanks everybody who's been asking for more. I actually appreciate that. I know it annoys a lot of people on YouTube when people ask, like, when are you doing more videos? When are you doing more videos? I actually appreciate that, so don't spam my inbox though. But shout out to you guys. Anybody else who wants to come on Boots on the Ground? We originally had 8 people lined up for tonight and they all just disappeared. So
Slackers.
And I've had people asking and not following up. Send me a mail in-game, Gimbal Revo, there's a space between those two. And yeah, I will give you Skype details and we can sort something out. Other than that, yeah, that's me. Cookie, shoutouts?
My Giant Bros, my Eon Bros, and JW, who ran the NFP team, because I told him I would. Good job, buddy. So next time, win.
Yeah, seriously.
And the original name of NFP was going to be No Free Pass for SI, but SI couldn't step up for the tournament.
No, it's a great job for those guys. Like I said, I mean, you're looking at a crew that literally was just the EU guys, the randoms from a bunch of Eon cores all just got together. Their first time playing together was their first match, and you know they won 27 in a row, I think it was. I mean, that in itself is, you know, an impressive feat. So definitely proud of all those guys, and you know, didn't quite reach their goal, but you know, it's part of life. Life goes on. So
it does. Shoutouts, Cubs.
No, not really. Just, you know, appreciate you having me on. Zero's a scrub. Don't let him ever tell you otherwise. So troll him whenever you can, because you know he loves that stuff. So and you know, keep up the good fight. So stick with it. If you like the game, stick with it. Because if you don't, well, can't really argue.
Come back.
Exactly. One way or the other, just stay here. About it. You know, Gimbal can't run his shows if he doesn't have an audience. And definitely, appreciate you having me on. It's a lot of fun.
Hey man, there's a direct correlation between the active player base in Dust and me doing boots on the ground.
I believe that. I believe that.
I'm clearly keeping this player base alive. They need me back.
CCP payroll.
I wish. Oh, but anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in, and thanks if you stuck with us for the entire thing. It was quite long. Hopefully we'll be back weekly. It'll be shorter. Thanks everybody for tuning in. See you next time.